Hey everyone, and welcome. So, we've all gotten used to AI that can answer our questions, right? But the real magic, the next huge leap, is AI that can actually do things for us. Today, we're going to demystify Agentic AI. We're going to break down the actual blueprints that let us build autonomous systems that can take real action in the world.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? How do we make that jump from a passive know-it-all to an active, goal-oriented partner? Well, that's exactly what this is all about. We're going to walk through the evolution, step by step, from a simple AI brain all the way to a complex collaborating AI team.
So, what exactly is Agentic AI? Well, it's not some single new technology. Think of it more like a new way of building things, a new architectural discipline. It's like having a box of Legos. We've got these fundamental blueprints, these agentic patterns that we can snap together to create AI agents that are designed to go out and tackle tricky problems all on their own.
And what's wild is that at the heart of every single one of these agents is this incredibly simple but really powerful idea. It's a core loop: perceive, reason, and act. The agent has to see what's going on in its environment, think about what it should do next, and then, actually act on that decision. Literally everything we're about to build is just a more and more sophisticated version of this loop.
Okay, so before we start building, let's just make sure we've got our foundation solid. There are three core ideas, what I like to call the three A's, that really define what makes an AI system a true agent. First up, asynchrony. That just means the world is messy, and agents have to be able to react to things as they happen, not in some predictable order. Next, you've got autonomy. This is key. They have to operate on their own, without a person needing to approve every single little step. And finally, maybe the most important one, agency. The agent has a purpose. It's acting on our behalf to get something done. These three things are the bedrock of everything we're building. All right, let's roll up our sleeves and start building our AI apprentice. The very first pattern, the starting point, is the simplest form you can imagine, just the reasoning engine. We are literally starting with just a brain. And this diagram shows it perfectly. You give it a query, that query gets wrapped up in a prompt for a large language model, the LLM thinks about it based on everything it was trained on, and poof, an answer comes out. It's super simple, it's scalable, but it's also stateless, which is a fancy way of saying it has the memory of a goldfish. It forgets the conversation the second it's over. But this basic brain runs into a wall pretty fast in the real world. As we said, it has no memory of past events. It can't go look something up on the internet or check a database. Its knowledge is completely frozen in time, stuck at the moment its training ended. It's a decent start, for sure, but to solve actual problems, our apprentice needs some serious upgrades. So, how do we fix that? Well, this next stage in our apprentice's journey is all about empowerment. We're going to give this brain the ability to look things up and, this is the big one, to actually take action. And the very first superpower we're giving our agent is essentially a library card. There's a technique for this called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. It's a way for the agent to retrieve information from an outside source to augment its answer. This makes its responses way more current and way more factual. So, check out the new step in this diagram. A user's question doesn't just go straight to the LLM anymore. Nope. First, it goes to a knowledge source. That could be a database, a bunch of PDFs, whatever. The agent finds relevant, up-to-date info and literally adds it to the prompt as context. Then it asks the LLM. This one simple step grounds the AI's response in reality, making it a whole lot more trustworthy. Okay, awesome. Our agent can now read and learn, but what about doing things? This is where our brain gets hands. Tool-based agents are the critical leap from being a knower to being a doer. The first step is like giving our apprentice a toolbox full of specific hand tools. The LLM can look at a problem, see what tools it has available, and decide to call an external function or an API. Maybe that's to do a calculation, look up a customer in Salesforce, or shoot off an email. It's taking action, one specific task at a time. But what if the job requires more than just hand tools? What if it needs heavy machinery? Well, this next pattern lets the agent delegate a really complex job to a dedicated server. You can think of the agent as a kind of dispatcher. It offloads a really heavy task, like processing a huge video file, and just waits for the result. This keeps the main agent nimble and focused on its core job. Okay, so our agent is getting pretty capable now, right? It can think, it can learn, and it can act. The final, most advanced stage of its development is learning to work with others. how do we go from a single agent to an entire AI team?
Turns out there are two main ways to structure an AI team. On one side, you have workflow agents. Think of this as the manager. It's a top-down, centralized coordinator that hands out tasks in a predictable, predefined order. Perfect for something like processing an insurance claim step by step. But on the other side, you have multi-agent collaboration. This is the brainstorm. It's decentralized, it's peer-to-peer, and it's perfect for really complex problems where you need a bunch of different expert AIs to debate, explore, and come up with a solution together.
And this diagram shows that brainstorm model perfectly. I know, it looks complicated, right? And that's kind of the point. You've got all these different agents, each one a specialist, and they're all talking to each other through a shared system. They negotiate, they share what they know, and they divide up the problem among themselves, all without a single boss telling them exactly what to do. This quote from the source material just nails the power of this approach. The key phrases there are emergent coordination and division of cognition. So what does that actually mean? It means the real intelligence isn't sitting inside any one agent. It actually emerges from all the complex ways the team works together as a whole. It's pretty cool. So let's just step back for a second and look at the whole journey we've been on with our AI apprentice. We started with this simple brain, and now we've ended up with a fully collaborative teammate. We've basically put together the entire blueprint. We kicked things off with just the brain. Then we gave it a library card, using RAG, so it could learn. After that, we gave it hands, using tools to act in the world. And finally, we taught it how to join a team, either as a follower or a collaborator. See how each step just builds on the last one? That's how we create these incredibly capable systems. So what's the bottom line here? What are the big things to remember? First, these patterns are just like Legos. Real systems are going to mix and match them to build whatever they need. Second, there is no one-size-fits-all solution. The right design completely depends on the problem you're trying to solve. And finally, and this is the most important part, this isn't just some academic theory. These are the actual building blocks being used right now to build the next generation of AI. And all of this leads to one final, huge question. We now have the blueprints to build AI teams that can tackle almost any task we can imagine. So the question isn't if we can build them anymore. The question is, what world-changing problems are we going to choose to solve first?